Hey everyone, this is Brian, animal activist, and welcome. It's time for that talk. This is my midnight hour of dark talk. So the question I ask myself is, the word vegan. So many people I know that are vegan noticed with me, they noticed that the animals are suffering, screaming, they want to live, don't want to die. So clearly, to an ethical vegan, it's wrong to kill an animal that doesn't want to die and then eat them. It is cruel. So, when I outreach to someone and explain all the many reasons why the animal wants to live, why do they not listen to me? And why did it take me 47 years to be kind and to go vegan? Well, let's look at some words and discuss them, okay? Our first word we're going to look at is the word conditioned. So from a very young age, you're actually force-fed meat, eggs and dairy at the table. And as you develop and grow up, you believe this is food. When in fact, meat is actually the decomposing flesh of an animal that didn't want to die. And I know at the age of 4 or 5, if you would have saw that animal killed in front of you and the blood squirting everywhere and the animal screaming, you would have never ate the meat. This is right. This is what we call conditioning. It starts in a very early age, and you're locked in now, that's for sure. So conditioning. What about the word programmed? It's kind of similar to conditioning. So this is how you're programmed. Advertising. So you might see an advertisement for this juicy steak and there's a builder eating it and saying, I need my protein. Look at me, I'm a man. And then these nice girls come round and stand around him thinking he's attractive, when in fact he's been cruel and uneducated about the nutritional facts about meat. That it's a number one carcinogen, and it's the leading cause of heart disease in the United States. So we're definitely programmed with advertising family traditions and consumption as normal and necessary. Programming also includes, it's like turning you into a robot. You wake up, you eat your breakfast. At 12:30, you eat your lunch. 5 p.m., you eat your dinner. Start the next day, eat a piece of meat with all these meals. So we're kind of programmed into that. Let's look at another word here. It's called desensitized. So the way animals are processed is often hidden from our eyes. So this actually desensitizes us because we don't see the suffering the animals go through. Now, a lot of parents, not all parents, but a lot of parents take their children hunting and teach them how to kill and get used to it. There's a horrible thing they do in England when they hunt foxes. So when they catch the fox with the child and the dogs have ripped the fox to pieces, a poor thing, and they get the blood, and whoever was the closest person, they wipe the blood on their face. What kind of sick thing is this? This is like psychopath stuff. Like, you did a kill, you killed an innocent, vulnerable animal, and you're wiping the blood on your face as if you're a warrior or something. So, see how you desensitize your children. So hiding the truth from your child's eyes is desensitizing them to the truth. So when we're older and someone tries to show you the slaughterhouse footage, you're definitely going to pull away, and you do not want to see it because you've already been desensitized. So this is another reason why people find it hard to understand why your other family members went vegan, and also hard to understand why you can't. So conditioned, programmed, desensitized. So let's look at another word. Habit. All these words are very similar, right? Eating meat is often a deeply ingrained habit, a part of daily routine, making it difficult to change. Exactly. So, for example, you come home from dinner, you come home from work, sorry, your dinner's on the table, you've got some mashed potatoes, some gravy, a slice of bread on the side, some carrots, and an empty space. So it's not going to feel right? You'll look at the plate and think, oh, where's the main part of the meal? You see how we have that habit forming? Even for breakfast, it's like every single meal has to include a piece of flesh, right? Because it's habit. And that habit also is an addiction, because you're kind of addicted to the taste of meat. So this is another word that's deeply ingrained, is habit. Now, a lot of people get hooked on like drugs, alcohol, a dependence, and they have a difficult time breaking away from these drugs and stuff. And it's the same with meat, actually. And you don't know it because you've probably never tried to give up meat. Give it a go, and you'll see that habit come back in, and you'll start getting cravings for meat, especially as the programming with advertisements comes onto you, and the desensitization still continues, and you're still being conditioned. All these words are kind of multiple effects on your emotions and feelings. So let's look at another word. Tradition. We've always done it, right? So tradition, I took some notes here. Cultural and family traditions often revolve around meat-centric meals, creating social pressure to conform. So here's one. I remember going vegetarian, and it was Thanksgiving, and there was all the food on the table. There was a dead turkey in the middle, and I just found that a lot of pressure on me. People saying, "Oh, get them," and I'm like, "No, I don't want none. What? I'm vegetarian. Why are you offering me this?" So there's a lot of peer pressure to eat meat. Now, also traditions too. For example, so certain religions and stuff like the Passover required people to eat lamb. And a tradition, it's like Christmas. There's always like meat. And Thanksgiving, there's always meat. On your birthday, you go out to a restaurant, there's going to be meat. So it's hard to break away from these traditions. So again, we have conditioning, programming, desensitized, habit, tradition. Let's move on to our next word. All these words are actually working around you every day to prevent you from thinking outside the box, from watching the suffering the animals are going that you're causing. Our next word is culture. So in many cultures, meat is seen as a symbol of status, celebration, or even masculinity, making veganism seem countercultural. Well, cultural as well. I know in some countries, believe it or not, this is kind of sick. It might sound sick to you, but they eat dogs, which seems weird, right? And in most other countries, they eat pigs. Now, does that seem normal to you? That's because of the cultural area you've been brought up. It's normal where they eat dogs. They find it actually gross that you eat pigs. I find it gross that you eat either. So, the culture around you is another word that's manipulating. All these words are manipulating you to eat meat. Convenience. How about that one? Let me see here. Vegan options can sometimes seem less convenient than readily available meat-based meals, especially in fast food settings. I agree. There isn't many fast food places you can just drive in and get a vegan fast food option. I guess in where I live in Topeka here, I think there's like 2 places I can go to, and one's being Burger King, and the other's is it Company and Noodles? And that's it. But this is where we have to grow up and start putting taste and pleasure and convenience before life. The animals don't want to die, and an act of mercy, letting them live, and go to the store and learn how to cook. You can buy plant-based steaks, plant-based fish, plant-based chicken. You don't have to give up any of these tastes. You just have to make a slight change to break that convenience thing. You think it's convenient for the animals to go line up at the slaughterhouse and die for you? Next word is the cost. Is it expensive? Well, in fact, being vegan is cheaper. Well, let me explain. Vegetables, fruits, potatoes, rice, legumes, beans, peas, breads, and all natural whole foods are all the cheapest things in the supermarket. And guess what? There's an added bonus. When you eat a vegan diet, all this food's actually healthy for you too. What a coincidence of, let's work this out. If I don't cause suffering to another human being in this world, karma makes all the food I eat healthy for me. Very interesting. Let's work that one out. However, it is more expensive to be vegan if you want to buy some of the processed foods like the mock fish, the mock steaks, the mock burgers. Availability. Our next word, availability. Availability. I know in some areas that, like, well, they call them desert towns where they don't have access to fresh fruit and vegetables, but I'm pretty certain there isn't many of those. In those people watching right now, that's not an excuse really to go out and kill an animal because you can't find the right potatoes on sale. There's got to be some vegetables and fruits in your town where you live. That's for sure. Or if you have to drive a couple of miles out, drive a couple of miles out. Availability. Social gatherings. So yeah, there's many social gatherings. For example, when you get invited out to someone's house for lunch or dinner and you turn up and they've cooked a nice meal for you and you sit down and there's a piece of animal flesh there. Now we have a problem, right? Now I've got to explain, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm vegan. Now I do know some other people that, well, I don't know vegans, but I know some vegetarians that will just be polite and just go ahead and eat it because it was made for them. But I'm not a plant-based vegetarian or plant-based vegan. I'm an ethical vegan, and I would refuse to eat the decomposing flesh of someone that suffered. So social gatherings, I make it very clear that I'm vegan, and if I feel uncomfortable, I can just leave. Or bring my own food. I think we discussed this briefly, but peer pressure. So I've been out to many social gatherings and I've started talking about veganism and been told to shut up. It can be a little overwhelming. I've also been told that why are you going vegan? It's stupid. It's so much more expensive. You cause so many problems. We can't go out to family gatherings. But your family around you start kind of looking at you in an uncomfortable way. So this is another manipulation that can keep you from choosing that more ethical compassion choice. Peer pressure. So here's a big word: misinformation. So you must have heard people saying, "Oh, we can't go vegan. Where'd you get your B12 from? Where'd you get your protein from?" Well, in fact, if you actually, the person telling me that, asking me those questions, if you actually took a nutritional class yourself, you would know. For example, the body needs approximately 70 grams of protein a day. In a bag of frozen peas has 16 grams of protein. A bag of sweet corn has 12 grams of protein. A piece of soy, tofu is super high in. Actually, there's some tofu there, and those two vegetables, I would have met my 70 grams of protein for the day. There's protein in everything. And we don't have to eat a piece of animal flesh that was actually bad for you and cause so much suffering in the world. If we take a nutritional class, you learn what fruits, what vegetables all have protein and balance a more stable, healthy diet. So misinformation is definitely something that manipulates people. Skepticism. Some people are actually concerned about the health issues by going vegan. They think, oh, my bones are going to break because I need calcium from dairy milk. I'm not going to get all the right vitamins. Well, again, it's kind of misinformation. It's been proven. There's many. Dr. Greger, Dr. Milton Keynes. These are two renowned vegan doctors online. You can Google them. They've been plant-based for many years and proven that living a plant-based diet at any stage of life, from a child, a pregnant mother, to an adult, is healthier for you, guaranteed. Any stage. So, check out those papers. B12, let me see. B12, meat eaters take supplements for B12. Vegans take supplements for B12. It's the same. I don't even take the supplement because in some of the fortified vegan foods, they're actually loaded with B12, and mushrooms usually covered in B12. Oh, I'm unfamiliar with this word. Apathy? Let me see. A lack of concern for animal welfare or environmental issues can make veganism seem unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, this is because you haven't seen the truth. Um, you might think, oh, well, I like the pork flesh from a pig. You might say, I like that. I like bacon. Um, it's because you haven't seen the truth. So you got to watch that documentary, Dominion, at watchdominion.com. See the truth, and I'm sure your apathy will change. Last one. I think this is the last one. Oh no, I've got 100 more. Fear. Let's see what I put here. Fear of social ostracism, nutritional deficiencies, or the perceived difficulty of the lifestyle can deter people. Not at all. When I went vegan, I think within the first 3 weeks, I'd lost 10 pounds in weight. Absolutely crazy. It's a little difficult at first trying to figure out what I'm going to eat, but once you go around the supermarket and you figure out where everything is, get some menus together. I have all my favorite foods. Easy. There's no fear in going vegan. You tell me what the fear is. Maybe the fear is this, all the words we've just read. Apathy, skepticism, misinformation, peer pressure, social gatherings, availability, cost, convenience, culture, tradition, habit, desensitized, programmed, and conditioned. Uncertainty about how to transition to a vegan diet or what can eat can become overwhelming. Yes, I kind of agree. Here's my solution to this. Don't focus on what you're going to eat for the rest of your life and what you need to buy. Just focus on your next meal. Enjoy that next meal. Plan that next meal. And the rest just fall into place. I didn't have a clue what I was going to eat at first, neither. But you go to the supermarket and there's lots of products that say the word vegan on it. And if you're untoo sure about these things, look on YouTube. There's many people that show you how to shop as a vegan in grocery stores. Or you can just go to the fruit and vegetable section. Uncertainty. All right, I'm going to read one more because I do have a lot brought down here. Let's try this last one. Denial. Denying the reality of animal sufferings or the environmental impact of meat consumption can make veganism seem irrelevant. Yep. So, for those people that are non-vegan and what have already watched the documentary Dominion and seen the suffering they go through, and you still say you're against animal abuse, you're in denial. I know what you did. You watched the documentary. After a couple of days, you've suppressed those feelings and those emotions, and now you're in denial. You don't want to see it again because you like the taste of that meat. And you've come back to all these words of peer pressure. All these manipulation words are surrounding you now, keeping you as you are. Slave to meat. Conditioned. You're programmed. You're desensitized. You have a habit, an addiction. You're stuck in tradition and cultures. You're stuck on your convenience, cost, your availability. You're scared about social gatherings. You're too scared about peer pressure from anyone. You're not even prepared to challenge any misinformation. No apathy. And you're scared. Fear. So, if you're still watching, thank you. Maybe you're going to break through these manipulation tools that are holding you where you are in your life right now. And what am I talking about? If I was going to manipulate you to buy my products, maybe I could try and figure out what one of your weaknesses and then, hit you with that, right? But what about if I knew all of your weaknesses? I can hit you with everything all at once, just like the meat, egg, and dairy industry does. Do you know what your weaknesses are? And this is why you're non-vegan. You've been conditioned, programmed, desensitized. You have a habit. You're stuck in tradition, culture, convenience, worried about the cost, availability, social, peer pressure, misinformation, skepticism, apathy, indifference, fear, uncertainty, doubt, inconvenience, laziness, attachment, taste preferences, cravings, misconceptions, lack of knowledge, resistance to change, and denial. Guess what? These are not just words. These are manipulative plans and motions that are surrounding you, keeping you from showing mercy and kindness towards the animals. Don't believe me? Try and show kindness to the animals and see what happens. Remember these words? They will come into play. You'll start to see these words around you. Okay. You've been patient. You've watched this. for a while now. I got some homework for you. There's your homework. You ready? I want you to watch the documentary Dominion at watchdominion.com. I'll put it on the screen right here. Watchdominion.com. It's free. Watch it on the big screen and make up your own mind. After all, could I be manipulating you? Can you trust me? After all, what am I trying to do? What are my core values? What's my integrity? Am I trying to take over the world? Am I trying to get you to donate 10% of your earnings to me every month? Am I trying to get you to join a cult? What am I trying to do? When you go into the grocery store, what are they trying to do to you? When you go to the meat counter, when you go in the grocery store, do you think you're really just making your own choices? You're a bit manipulated like a robot just to walk in certain areas and buy their products. There's a reason there's prices and signs saying sale, 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 10%, use your app, use the discount card. It's all planned out for you. Am I manipulating you? Here's the truth. No, I'm not manipulating you. I'm vegan, ethical vegan, animal rights activist. I speak up for animals that don't want to die. They can't talk to me because they don't have a voice, but they scream. I've seen them cry. I remember those that suffered right in front of me, and I want to be a voice for them, and I share the truth. You've been manipulated. All these words we just read are all in play all around you, constantly, all the time, to manipulate you. If it was just one, you could break free easy, but there's multiple. How are you going to break free from all these multiples? You need to watch the truth and wake up. Watch Dominion, the documentary Dominion, at watchdominion.com. www.watchdominion.com. It's free. Think about these two words, integrity, core value. I gain nothing from... The only thing I gain from you if you went vegan, the animals that I'm fighting for don't have to suffer because of you anymore. I win. That's it. That's what I'm fighting for. Kindness, compassion, and love. Thank you for watching, people. Keep watching. I'm going to have me, my conscience, and my subconscious share the truth with you. The hidden truth that the world is hiding from you without the glory. Watch. Hey everyone, this is Brian, animal activist, and yep, I gotta share the truth. I'm tired of this. Trying to explain to everyone in the world that killing animals is wrong. I am ashamed of myself. For example, pigs spend their entire life in concrete sheds. Can you imagine being born in a concrete shed? There's nothing. If you survive the first 6 months in that little pen there, if you don't grow quick enough, they bash your head in, toss you out like garbage. And mom, if she stops delivering babies, she gets this same place, knife to the throat, electrified head, gas chambers. It's absolutely shocking. I've never seen anything like this. Did you know that they forcibly impregnate pigs, keep them in prisons their entire life, and as soon as the 6-month-old babies that miss their mum become of weight, they've had nothing but cornmeal. Can you imagine living your life and nothing but cornmeal in a prison?
you've never done anything wrong, you're innocent, never experienced joy or love or kindness, anything. And at 6 months old, you get your first glimpse of daylight as they put you on a truck, and you go out and you see daylight through the little holes in the truck, maybe some fresh air in the face if it's not -20, and you think, well, where are we going? It's just nice to get out of that concrete shed, right? You're on a journey, and then they start to smell blood, and they can hear other pigs screaming, and then they realize they've been sent for their execution. It's one of the most shocking things I've ever known. There's a slaughterhouse I go and do visuals at, and they kill 15,000 animals a day. And guess what? We put our taste and pleasure above someone else's life. I'm asking you, please watch this documentary, Dominion. See the truth. Stop paying for and contributing towards their suffering. Show them some mercy. After all, they've done nothing wrong to you. They're children. Put yourself in their position. Would you want your children sent to a slaughterhouse? Would you want to be forcibly impregnated? No. It's watchdominion.com. It's free to watch. Make up your own mind. There's a lot of truth in this world that's kind of been hidden from you. And it's my job to wake you up, right? Alright, Brian, do you want to talk about chickens? Absolutely, yeah. I can talk about chickens. Well, you know, wow, what can I say? The chicken industry is absolutely disgusting. And you don't see this as a non-vegan going into the store and just paying for a piece of their flesh. The suffering is behind the walls, the stuff we can't see, and there's a reason they hide this from you. It's so shocking. So they genetically breed chickens, hens, to grow super fast, and believe it or not, a baby chick is fully grown within 6 weeks. Sometimes they can barely even walk, and if they make it to 6 weeks, they're sent to slaughterhouse, where they're going to have a knife to the throat. Sometimes they put their heads in electric shock baths. That doesn't always stun them, and then they just bleed to death, and then they're actually shackled by the feet as they're going around, ripped to pieces. And we do this for what? Just to eat them? I've always thought in life, if we put ourselves in someone else's position, would you really want that done to you or your children? 6 weeks old. A chicken in the wild can live for years. 6 weeks old babies. So, I mean, what happens with the eggs? Did you know in the egg industry, they can't tell if the egg's going to be male or female until the egg hatches? And the males are worthless in the egg industry. They keep a few for roosters, but the rest, because they don't lay eggs and they just eat seed, and they don't grow quick enough. On day 1 of life, they either put them in a plastic bag, tie the knot and suffocate them, or gas chamber, or they put them on a conveyor belt and send them into a macerator that chops them up alive. Day 1 of life. What's the golden rule? Do unto others how you want to be treated, right? Come on, think about this. There's plant-based chicken out there, plant-based eggs that taste exactly the same. It's about showing love and compassion. These animals they scream and they just want to be free like you and me. And I don't understand how we turn a blind eye. I try and show you the truth, what happens to chicken, and people turn away. So watch that documentary, Dominion, at watchdominion.com. It's free. I mean, I don't have much else to say apart from Brian, do you have anything else you want to say? Yeah, I got a lot more to say. So, I mean, what's going on? Are we have no empathy? We don't care about someone else's life that doesn't want to die. You know, cows, pigs, chickens, have you ever spent time with them? I recommend anyone that's non-vegan to go to a farm sanctuary, hang out with the animals, and you'll see that they don't want to die. They have emotions just like you and me, just like your dog or cat, and just like you. I've seen animals cry. I've seen them get giddy and happy. I've seen them get grumpy, and I've seen them go through slaughterhouses in fear, screaming. There's no mercy shown in the slaughterhouses. So why do we turn a blind eye to the truth? I mean, many non-vegans that I know say they're against animal abuse, but yet because you don't see the animal being killed at the grocery store, you just see a piece of their flesh. They've removed the eyes and the ears and the hands, and all you see is a piece of their flesh. They've removed the person, the personality. Now I know if you went to buy a burger or something at the grocery store and the head or the eye was still there, you would probably reject it, right? So there's a disconnection, and it's important that we make that connection, because being non-vegan, you're making a huge mistake. Well, we're blindly going into a grocery store, paying for that piece of flesh, and what's the reason you eat the flesh? And be honest. Say it. It begins with a T. Just say it. Don't say, oh, I need it for my health. I'm anemic. No, you say the truth. You like the taste. That is it. And it's really all you've known. Your parents, fed this stuff to you, and you've been lied to. So check out this documentary. It's called Dominion at watchdominion.com. Maybe you won't go vegan, and that's okay, but at least you watched the truth. Vegetarians, if you're watching, ethical vegetarians, I want to say thank you for making that ethical change. You didn't want to cause suffering towards animals. It's a big step. But as you've already heard about the dairy industry, that is the meat industry. They send the mothers off to slaughterhouses when they can't produce no more milk. So when we purchase in milk or dairy, we're directly responsible for the suffering and murder of the animal. So it's about aligning our morals with our actions. Stop paying for animals to be suffered. Switch to a plant-based milk. Switch to plant-based eggs. We can do this, can't we? So, that's all I've got for now. WatchDominion.com. It's gonna open your eyes to the truth, and then I want you to think about it logically and try and make that decision. Maybe you can put life above your taste and pleasure, right? It's not that hard, really, to be kind. And the next time an animal's screaming for help, maybe you can show them mercy and eat something else. Thank you.